Guys, welcome back. Let's continue with the next part, right? Just give me 1 minute, please. Okay, let's continue. So yesterday, guys, we was discussing about the DNS services and some more extra concept we have completed yesterday. From last couple of classes, guys, we was discussing about Route 53 as a one DNS as a service from the AWS cloud, and I think almost all the main concept of the DNS, how to set up the public DNS server and how to set up the private DNS server, we have done in the last classes. Okay, but by chance, if you go for any of the DNS services, especially the public DNS, so there they guys provide you multiple multiple routing protocol, right? Or I can say routing policy, and almost all the policy, guys, we have complete in very detail. And plus, it's not only complete, we also set up the different environment to see the demo of that particular policy. Okay, so so that's all about very quick uh, I can say summary, but the quick thing that we have done in the last classes. So today's, guys, the main topic that we are going to touch today is the global accelerator. Okay, and to understand the global accelerator, you should have some basic knowledge of Route 53. Okay, and you should have some basic knowledge of cloud front. So both the services, guys, we have already discussed and we have already implemented. And if you remember in my initial classes, I have talked about what is cloud front and use cases of the cloud front. Okay, and obviously from last few classes we are talking about Route 53. But recently, in these years, Amazon has come up with a new service that give you uh, to optimize your network connectivity from your client to your respective server, and they introduce you for us a service called Global Accelerator. Okay, so what is Global Accelerator? That is a today's topic, and if we got the time today, okay, so I will again would like to go back to a service called IAM. So very big, high level overview of IAM we have already done. Okay, but we will go, guys, more deep dive into the IAM, means sorry, how to how to set up the roles, policies, and some more thing we will go and discuss in the IAM service. So maybe some of the part of SSO also, high level brief about SSO also we will discuss. So this is the first plan for today. And if you by chance got the time today, we will continue with the IAM. Okay, so let's continue, guys, with the global accelerator. Okay, but before, guys, again we go for a topic called global accelerator, I just want to quickly revise one small thing. Okay, and thing is, if you know about AWS, so AWS has their own personal huge data center. They are known as AGs, availability zone, and those data center they manage in per city or per country or per region basis. That is called regions. Okay, but they have some, and even though I can say they have a lot of smaller data center where they are serving very limited services. Okay, for example, if you go to AG, if you go to AG, so almost in all the AGs, they are serving all the services. Maybe you go to EC2, maybe you go to VPC, you go to RDS or XYZ services. Okay, by chance in some of the AG, or I can say in some of the region, some of the service might not available. Okay, maybe for example, if you are looking for let's say blockchain, or maybe you are looking for maybe some of the part of machine learning, so some of the service might not available in some particular region or the AZ, but all the major services what AWS is offering to us, it is available in all the AZs and all the regions. This is one thing. Okay, but Amazon has their own smaller data center. All right, there they are offering very limited services. Okay, and one of the service, and that a smaller data center may be owned by AWS or Amazon, or maybe they have tied up with some third party company. Okay, so those data center they are using for very limited thing or limited services they are offering. So one of the service they are offering from those data centers called caching. So if you want to maintain cache of your data, maybe this cache come from your web application, or maybe cache come off from S3 services. So they use those smaller data center for one other thing, that is for caching thing. And you guys know we have already discussed this part, so I'm talking about the edge. So edge location is I think around 200 plus edge location they have across the world. And they use this edge location. One of the purpose would be the caching server. And if you want to use the edge location, okay, so edge location is like a AG, is like is one kind of data center. But if you want to use the edge location, so multiple services available through which you can use the edge location of the AWS. So one of the service that you can use for if you want to use the edge location is CloudFront. And what is CloudFront, guys? We have already discussed. Okay, what is CloudFront? So CloudFront is a way through which you can create a cache copy in the edge location. And why we would like to create the cache copy in the edge location? So in my that particular class, I have explained you in very detail. Okay, but I just want to again revise this topic in 5 minutes, because the main topic for global accelerator for today's class is somehow related to edge location. Okay, or it is somehow look very similar, similar like CloudFront, but both the topic has a different services, and both the services offering different thing. Okay, but there's a but it initially it looked like same, but but the way I'm going to explain you today, guys, you will differentiate very easily when to use cloud front or when to use a global accelerator. Okay, so to make you understand the global accelerator, let me first very quickly summarize the cloud front. And before the cloud front, let me very quickly very highly again summarize the edge location, because one of the purpose of the edge location is the caching, but there is some more purpose of the edge location. So if I go and search edge location of in AWS, so maybe some of the images you guys might got about the edge location over here. So let me pick this particular image here. Okay, and so what I'm doing here. Okay, so so guys, normally in this particular image, if you see one minute, please, let me take a copy of this. So from this image, it is clearly mentioned over here, the all the bubbles or the dots in the blue color is your edge location. Okay, so so we have some edge location, let's say in Mumbai, in India, in Delhi, in Australia and US, multiple edge locations we have. Okay, and one of the things that AWS internally provide, and I already explain you very high level in my cloud front topic. Okay, so Amazon has their own um, uh, private network. Okay, private network. And private doesn't means that they have one single room, they put the switch there and have a wire like this. So again, this is all also a private, but it look like a local area, means in some local area we have a private network. Okay, but Amazon has their WAN kind of private network. So in the wide area, when I say wide, I normally mean to say web, or I normally mean to say global. Okay, so Amazon has, or these companies like Google, Amazon, these companies has a global private network, or global private infrastructure. So technically, what they have done, they have some network connectivity from US, maybe to this particular region, from this region to Africa, from Africa to Australia and to India. So they have a internal network connectivity, and because they say this is our private, and one of the intention why they have created a private means only from within the AWS world, or only within the Amazon world, but we can connect. Okay, we can't directly connect these edge location directly. Okay, so these edge location guys is connected through their own internal wires and internal networks. Typically they are the fiber optic cables. Fiber optic cables, but they are a very high speed network connectivity they provide you, and they say there's ultra high speed or ultra low latency kind of network they have created. Okay, so to benefit you achieve from this private network, even though if you see here, the entire globe, entire world has connected. Okay, and but this entire world is connected, look like everything is connected, but this is not public. Or because when we say public is we normally mean to say internet. Means anybody can come in to your network and do a connectivity, but nobody from outside world can able, or from public world can able to come inside this network. Okay, because they have created their own private network, and this private network is connected uh, with the edge location, and obviously with their with their edges also. So all the edges and all the availability zone means region is connected to the private network. So to benefit you achieve here, okay, in this private world, one benefit is because nobody can come from the internet or the public world. So it is a great obviously for the isolation, means the for the security. Okay, and second benefit is because they this the entire network globally is managed by one single company. Okay, so they have a complete idea, okay, which line, which path, for example, uh, from this particular location, if you want to reach to India, so maybe one of the line they have connected by this one, the red line I'm creating here, and one of the line maybe from here to here, then Europe, and you can from here you reach to India. So multiple line from one location, or one from one country to other country, or one continent to other continent, if you want to reach. So multiple uh, way they have, typically known as path they have, or maybe you can say a routing path they have. So they have a complete idea. um, all the path, if you want to reach to the one AZ to other AZ, or one edge to other edge, or one edge to other edge, so which path to use, because this entire is controlled by one single company. So they might say this is the path is very congested right now because of network traffic, so this path is very much is not so much congested in the terms of traffic, so let's go and use this path. Okay, and because this entire path is high speed fiber optic cables, a router device and other things also, so so on the fly, this company can give you a guarantee, the speed, right? Speed, or maybe you can say performance, or you can say the throughput, right? That they say if anybody use our private network, we can give the guarantee. We can give the guarantee. The speed and the performance is always up to the mark. Okay, but if you use internet, okay, none of the company in the world, even though if you go and buy some great broadband connection, or maybe some kind of lease line, you buy some ISP or from internet connection, none of the company can give the guarantee that I will always give you 100 mbps speed or 1 gigabit speed of the internet. Because that particular company might have the best network, devices and the fiber optic cable, but internet means lots of company work together. So maybe in India we have some company, maybe in maybe in UAE we have a different company, maybe in Europe we have a different company. Every company is depend on other company. So in between, one of the company goes down, or one of the network goes down or becomes slow, other company also affect, or other ISP also affect. Or maybe one of the company got compromised in the terms of security, right? So any packet go from India to Europe, because of this company. Maybe there might be some issue in the security also. Okay, so public internet, technically I'm just trying to tell you, is never safe. Okay, because it's public, it's open. Okay, anybody can see your packet. Obviously if you send the packet encrypted way, they can't see the data, but at least they can see from this location to that location your packet is traveling. Okay, so in somehow it is open and it is not secure, and nobody can give the speed and guarantee of low latency or ultra low latency in the internet. Right, because of the dependencies of other different ISPs. So Amazon say, I have my own personal private fiber optic global network infrastructure. Okay, and if you want to use the global infrastructure, okay, so my all edges and edges has connected to each other. And one of the reason why we have created edges, because obviously we can't put the edges or region in across the world. Okay, we always put the AG or the region in that country, okay, where we have more customer. For example, maybe in 2016 I think, okay, they launch one AG in India. Before 2016, they don't have any AG in India. Okay, and they have one AG in Mumbai right now. I think 2016 they launched. Before this, we don't have. Okay, so India don't have because maybe Amazon doesn't see any base core client base who are using their cloud services there. There might be possibility. So the nearest AG at that point in time was Singapore. Okay, so if from India, if you want to launch any services there, maybe if you want to launch EC2 service there, we have to go to Singapore AG, and from there we have to launch it. Okay, but maybe that point in time, Amazon might see some of the client from India, they would like to use and like to open the website in EC2 service. Okay, so they say rather than if I again create this diagram one more time to make this point a little bit clear. So rather than have a client from India, okay, from India, always send their traffic somehow or some ocean fiber optic cables, and send every time to India. There's two issues come up. First of all, the client, let's say one of my client is in one of the city in India. Let's say I'm based from Jaipur as a city. Okay, one of the city in India. Okay, so from this city, okay, one of the client who want to use one web application running on the EC2, and this EC2 is running on the top of Singapore data center. Okay, so one of the client or the source will always send the packet to the Singapore. Okay, so two issues come up. Okay, one issue is Okay, because this client are using their ISP connection. So for example, one of the ISP that I am using right now is called BSNL. Okay, so if I go and currently sites this particular website, I will go to my ISP, my telecom company. Okay, and this telecom company is a part of the public internet, so my packet always go via public internet. So first of all, I won't get a security, and this public internet is never reliable in the terms of network performance and the throughput or the speed. Okay, so that's what I was talking about. Okay, so what Amazon is offering that point in time, before they don't have any data center in India. Okay, they say we can't invest much, a lot, in the India for launching the AG there, but at least we can provide two or three our smaller data center in India. Okay, and that time they had one or two data center in India. I think one might be based on Delhi, or one might be based on Mumbai or Bengaluru somewhere. So one or two small data center. Technically, I'm talking about edge location they had. Okay, and what they say, telling to all the source IPs or the client IP from India, and they, if you want to use if you want to use our want to access the website that is running in one of my data center in Singapore, so you don't have to use a public internet from India and go via the public internet and reach to Singapore, or maybe reach to US. What can you do from your local telecom? Okay, ask your local telecom, and this local telecom will connect you to my nearest nearest edge location. Or maybe, for example, you are in Jaipur, for example, and your nearest edge location that is governed by Amazon is Delhi, for example. Okay, or maybe somebody maybe in a different city here, maybe somebody from Bhopal, for example, or Indore, for example, and their nearest data center may be Mumbai. So so Amazon say, okay, we will automatically figure out on the fly, on the real time, which city you are starting, you are working as source IP. And guys, here I think now you understand how they figure out which one is the nearest. So internally they are using a route 53 service. It's not visible, but internally they're using route 50 service, and there they're using a routing policy called latency. So Amazon say, whichever the city you are from, right, we will use somehow use latency routing policy of our internal DNS server, because they have created their own DNS server. So guys, if you remember in the CloudFront, so CloudFront has given us one URL, and the URL they are using some kind of domain name and the host name. So I think they are using the domain name something like cloudfront.in or .com, something like this. So Amazon say, I will create my own DNS that is managed by us, and in this DNS, they're not showing that you that DNS database, but they are trying to tell you internally, because now we know the concept. So they're trying to tell you it is compulsory, if you want to access any site in the in the Singapore, you have to use this URL. And if you use this URL, then only I can give you a capability to use my nearest, or use your nearest edge location. Okay, and how it thing work behind that? If you use this URL, this URL will give you the nearest IP of the edge location with the help of latency policy that I explained you already yesterday. So let's say from my Jaipur, I will connect to my Delhi. Delhi. And by chance, because in the CloudFront, the use of the CloudFront is to maintain the caches. So in the Delhi edge location, you might have the caches website or cache application or cache data or images. So they will serve you their own. Okay. And by chance, if they don't have, then this time they will go to Singapore, get the data from there and serve to you. But the connection that from Delhi to Singapore will be happen using their private network, because this edge location in Delhi is the edge location of AWS, and this is the data center AG of the AWS. So they have an internal private high speed network, and they will connect with this. So this part is we are not using, or they are not using internet connection or public, so you get a great security in this connectivity, plus the high speed also. But obviously from your home, or you from your office till the Delhi edge location, that time, that part is the only part where you have to use your local ISP or public internet. But after this they use the private network for the speed. So finally, if you try to sum up, right, the overall speed and the overall security would be very high. Okay, this part. So guys, some of the part I already explained you while explaining you the cloud front. Okay, but this infrastructure, I just want to tell you one more time the power of the private global infrastructure by the AWS. Okay, and you, if you want to use this you know private infrastructure AWS, then you have to always take the help of edge location, because not all the country, by chance in India now we have AG, but not other countries has the AG available. Okay, but almost all the countries has the edge locations. Okay, or maybe their nearby country has the edge location. So any of the customer from that nearby area and if they want to connect, then automatically they take the nearest country edge location, they connect there, the way I try to explain you from Jaipur to Delhi, and then they connect to the respective uh, services of the AWS and provide a data to you. So edge location is not only to maintain the cache. If you want to maintain the cache, that is a different point. The cloud of front is the service you can use, but the one of the main um, core benefit of the edge location is they provide us uh, latency based services or low latency based services, because every location they have, and every edge location is connected to each other with the internal network of the AWS. Okay, now how this internal or private network help us in other way also. Cloud front, you guys know. So very high level I introduce or again or summarize the cloud front, but demo wise we have seen lots of practical about the cloud front in my initial classes. Okay, but but there's some use cases that cloud front won't able to show you, or won't able to serve you. And there we have to go for a topic called global accelerator. So let me explain you what use case I'm talking about. Okay, and then you can very easily differentiate the difference between the cloud front and a difference between the you come to know what is the global accelerator. Okay, so now at least you know, guys, the edge location is a small data center, and everybody is connected to each other with high speed and secure network. So at least this part everybody, I think, now can reference in the link. Okay, now uh, uh, what is the use of global accelerator? Is one of the service, even though if you go to AWS page here and try to search, do you have any global accelerator, you can see there's a one service available. Okay, and if you see the description of the service is it improve the performance, right, of global network or using the global network. So technically they're talking about using AWS private global network that I'm talking about, that is connected to each other with the fiber optic lines. Okay, so what they mean by performance, or maybe what they mean by availability here. Over here. Okay, so it worked like this. Let's take one scenario. And scenario is, okay, and this very commonly used scenario. Let's say we have hosted one website in US. Okay, so we launch EC2 instance, and on the top of EC2 instance we launch application, web application. Okay, and due to some reason, or maybe some kind of legal government legal regions, or regulatory regions, or maybe some other kind of compliance, they might be any of the point. Okay, but the content of this web application, maybe web pages or databases, we have to store only in US. We can't store our data of the website, web pages, images, videos, or maybe databases in other countries. Okay, and this is a very common thing, guys. In almost all the companies, you will see uh, your global company. Uh, so country to country, every country has their own legal uh, compliance or security compliance. So on regulatory, so we have to follow. Okay, so accordingly we have to we can't store our data in other countries. And because we can't store in our data in other countries, then you will face one issue. Okay, the issue would be, let's say if one of my client from India, okay, I'm talking about the client of this particular company who want to access the web application over here, and they want to access this website. Okay, and maybe this particular company know for this content or for this pages, most of the client from India, but they can't launch same copy of website in India, even though AWS has the one AG in India, but they can't launch there. Okay, because if they launch one issued instance there, they can launch, but they can't put the data of web app there. Okay, because of some, maybe some kind of uh, legal legal reason. Okay, so 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 only way the client of the India can connect to your website is they will go via, because they're the client. Let's say I am one of the client in sitting in Jaipur, so I have some ISP and I use my public ISP, and what are the ISP give me a route, and from the internet route we reach here. Again, here I'm talking about my internet route. And if this is internet, if this internet, so nobody can give you tell you we are secure, because there's no single company working in the entire internet. And nobody can give you a reliability, okay, in the terms of availability. When I say availability, for example, if I'm using BSNL here and I say BSNL, can you give me the availability of your network or internet connection? They say we have the best network, but I am dependent on other countries ISP also, so I can't say about those guys. So I can't tell you the availability or the reliability of that network connection, or in reliability in one more form in terms of performance and the bandwidth. Maybe your speed goes down and up, nobody in the internet can give this guarantee to you. Okay, so these are the some basic issues you will face. But yeah, you can connect to this guy. Okay, but every time customers from the India, client from India or these regions, they have to go to US and fetch the data from there. And so it's long distance. First of all, security reliability is different thing, but it's long distance, so you face a lot of delay and a lot of high latency you will face here. So it's not good for customer user experience. Right, for this company. Okay, so now what can you do here? Okay, because now at least we know one service called CloudFront. Okay, to improve the performance for this application. Okay, we can go for CloudFront. The benefiting of the good thing about CloudFront is we know our customer is from India, so we'll tell our CloudFront and say whenever any customer from India try to access this website, so can you please give me a different URL? I'm not going to give the IP of this. Let's say the IP of this instance is 3.4. So I'm not giving this IP directly to my customer from India. If I give this IP and this IP belong to US, so they have to always come to US via public internet. Okay, so I'm not going to give this IP. I will give one unique URL that is provided by you as a CloudFront. Okay, and the good thing about this URL is if I provide this URL to my customer from India, so this URL has some kind of internal magic. Magic means if anybody from India try to use this URL automatically detect the nearest edge location in India, let's say for me is maybe Delhi, and I connect there. And after I connect to Delhi, this edge location will internally use the AWS private high speed network, and they connect very quickly, give me take the data and provide to me. And plus they also create a cache here. Okay, so next time same client or the client connect, we will provide a data from that particular cache. Okay, but in this guy's context, you know what CloudFront do for you? They will create a cache copy of this data in India. But according to policy of this company, they can't create any copy, or I can say the cache in other countries, of maybe some of the images or some of the data or some of the videos. So if this is the case, that you don't want to create any cache over here in the in the local data center. Okay, so here the cloud front is not useful. Otherwise CloudFront is great. The CloudFront behind the scene help you to connect the nearest data center of AWS called edge location. And how they connect, again I told you already, they use a route 53 service internally, and they use a latency routing policy. Okay, you don't have to configure, you guys see in the CloudFront class also, but internally they're using that kind of policy. Okay, so with this use case, guys, what we're talking about, CloudFront is great, but the only challenge in the CloudFront is the cache, and we can't create a cache over here. Otherwise, everything is good. Okay, so if we can't use the CloudFront, so what is the other alternative? Okay, so other alternative would be like similar like this. Okay, but the only difference that we can use as a other alternative or approach, I can say, uh, that we can use here. Again, we have the same diagram. My actual website is running here. Okay, and our client is over here in India. Okay, so what can we do? Okay, we'll tell my client from India and say, if you use public internet, it will be slow or a lot of challenge you will face. Okay, so what can you do? You will just go and connect to the nearest edge location of the your source location. Let's say I am from Jaipur, my nearest one Delhi. Just connect to the Delhi edge location of AWS. Okay, and after you connect to the Delhi edge location, okay, this location has an internal private high speed network. They will connect very quickly to this guy. They will get this data, and after get this data, they will provide it to you. Okay, so technically, if you want to go to US and come back, because you're using my private network, they're so super fast. So they are secure, they're fast, and because you're using my network, so I can give one more guarantee, because from India or to Delhi to US, I have multiple different path. So anybody who know, guys, routing or router protocols. So in router we have a lot of different protocol like OSPF or EIGRP or RIP, and lots of protocols they have. Okay, there's those protocol on the fly, or other approach also we have on the fly. They give you the best path. Okay, so they said, because this is entire my network, so I know which one is the best path, or maybe this path maybe goes down. It's completely gone by me, but this is a wire side, so if something break down, so I have the other path, so your network connection is always available. Again, because this entire network is on my and fiber optic cables, so you will always get a best performance. So in the terms of availability and the performance, using my network is always improved. They normally give the guarantee of improve more than 50-60% if you normally use the internet. So that much improvement you'll get, and that is too much actually. Okay, so this is one thing. But uh, interesting thing is interesting thing is because you can't create a cache in your local country, so every time from um, from your location, okay, if you want to access the application, you have to always go to Delhi, and Delhi will do a proxy for you So guys, this same kind of concepts, approximate same concept that I explained you in my load balancing class. So this way, proxy your request, and on your behalf, they send here to this web app, and this web app will reply you back, and this will reply to you. So it again look like a reverse proxy. Obviously, you don't have to call for load balancer, but it look like they will do proxy. So one more benefit you will get it here. Okay, so in this EC2 web services, you don't have to allow in the security group all IPs, because now requests will always come in this instance from some of their edge location. So you do only enable in their security group that their edge location. That's a different point, but this one more extra benefit you will achieve here: extra security in the terms of firewall. Okay, so technically, but I will tell my that service that don't create a local copy. Okay, so anybody from our source location, if they want to go anywhere globally, okay, accelerate their speed. So the connectivity is same, but rather than we use the internet connection, this guy from a source, like so my example is Jaipur, I go to the nearest edge location. Obviously, this part we use internet, because obviously from my home I don't have a AWS network. So here I use a ISP connection. That is again that is my nearest one, and after this we are using the global network of AWS. So finally, it will accelerate your speed of connectivity with the application. Okay, and it would be anywhere in the world because they have a super fast speed across the world. And that is the reason, guys, this service is known as Global Accelerator. Okay, so if you see here, it's very look like CloudFront. The only difference or big difference I can say, CloudFront will do the same thing for you, but they create the cache in the edge location after they fetch the data from the app server. But Global Accelerator doesn't create a cache because I don't want my cache to be maintained there. I want every time I do the request, my request always go there and reach to the main system and come back. Okay. So what kind of scenarios help you? If you think you are a company and you don't want to launch your web server across the world, but a client from across the world come to your main server always. And one of the reason is compliance or some legal reason. One of the reason, or maybe other reason you might have. You don't want to manage multiple instances across the world. Okay, maybe because of team or other management reason might be. So these are some small use cases, and very much useful. It's very common use case also, right? There the use of global accelerator come in play. Okay, so now guys, you have to choose if you want to use the edge location and if you want to use the private network or AWS, what you want, right, to provide as services of your web application to the client. So do you want to maintain the cache in the nearest location? Okay, or you want, or every time my customer from anywhere in the world always come to my main server. And if you want always they come to a main server, then the global accelerator come in play. So configuring the global accelerator is not big deal, but understanding the requirement is very important, guys. Why we need, and because every time they come to you, so it will improve the performance because you're using global network, and availability here means they have multiple path. So if something goes down, you will connect to next one. So that is the uh, main point here. Okay, and because they say I am always available if something fail, I know because some routing protocol how to pick the next best path. Okay, so they say we are very resilient in this form. Okay, so there's one document from AWS you can read, very small thing. So they say we are very much resilient. If something goes down, we always give the high availability and fault. And something fault happen, we will we will tolerate that part. Okay, this is one thing. And one more document of AWS. This is the without AWS and without the GA, or it is with GA. So if you use internet connectivity, means without, and then you have to go to local ISP, then different network, A network, B network, C network, E network, F. So multiple different ISP use. Then you go and connect to that US, for example, region on the web server. But if you use a global accelerator, then from your laptop you have to connect to your local ISP. As soon as you reach this black icon, if you see here, okay, reached edge location, then this edge location has direct connectivity AWS region. So you don't have to jump from one network to other ISP to other ISP. This jump is called hoop. So you don't have to hoop. Uh, you know, to one by one. Because if you hoop again and again to other ISP, that will also degrade your network performance also. Okay, so this again one of the diagram the way I'm trying to explain you. So I will provide this link to you. So very much interesting topic. Even though if you want to see this as a very simple picture, so it's pretty straightforward, very simple service, right? But if you try to understand, guys, behind the scene, AWS has invest like anything, because they have a big infrastructure of the edge location. That is a region you can use this service. Otherwise, it's not possible. Okay, so around 60% performance up you will get if you use a global network. Okay, so this is one of the diagram. You can see the way it is connected. Okay, and one more benefit, guys, global accelerator will provide you. Okay, because normally whenever you launch your web application and you want anybody can come to a web application directly, you have to provide one public IP. Obviously, you guys know, but you guys know this public IP is a dynamic IP. There's a way to make it permanent also with the EIP. There's a different point, but it is dynamic IP normally. Okay, interesting thing about the global accelerator is they are providing static public IP to you. Okay, this is the by default nature of the global accelerator, static public IP. Okay, and interesting thing is they're not providing only one static public IP, they are providing two public IPs to you. Okay, normally, guys, connectivity we always do with the network actually. IP just a number to reach there. But even though they are providing the two IP address, because they say if by chance or due some reason one of the location in your client side one of the IP block, then you automatically connect to the next IP. I guess this is one of the reason why they are giving two IPs. So whenever you guys create a global accelerator for web application, they give you one URL, means until they give you two IPs. All the two IPs are public static IP, and one of the intention is this: they are trying to take a precaution in such a way, any of the way, right? I don't want you lose your connection. It should be always available. If one of the IPs from your side block by XYZ reason, your second IP is also useful. So they give you two IP, static IP over here. Okay, two IPs for your global accelerator, your URL, or I can say for your respective web app. Okay, two IPs they give you, and normally these two IPs they give you as any cast IP. So what is any cast? Let me also very give you a very high level idea of what is the Anycast. So guys, Anycast is just one concept of networking. Okay, so if one computer want to connect to second computer, let's say this IP1 and IP2. If IP1 want to connect to IP2, okay, so they died. Like for example, if you want to ping, right? So you just write from IP1, I want to ping to IP2. So packet will create and it directly go to IPs2. Okay, so this kind of connectivity of one IP to other IP, right, is called unicast. Uni means one. We are connecting to only one single final IP. Okay, but there is a one way available, guys, in the networking world. If IP1 want to connect with multiple IPs together, maybe IP2, IP3, IP4, or all the IPs that is available in my network. So I just want to ping, and I run the ping command only once. But just by one ping command, I would have to send the packet to this guy also, this guy also, this guy also, this guy also, and oh, everybody have to reply me. Okay, if this is the case, and most of the time, some of the time we might have to use this kind of cases. Okay, that kind of connectivity is called broadcast concept. And that is the reason, guys, if you see, every network has their own broadcast IP. So if you want to ping all the computer together, so all the computer that is available right now, they will reply to you. So if you open my Linux instance, you can see, you always see there's one broadcast IP allocated per network. Okay, like this, there's multiple different cast IP for a different use case. We have multicast also. Normally, some router and some other kind of protocol use multicast IPs for some purpose. Okay, but there's one more concept of in the IP world is called anycast. Anycast. So this concept actually is not actually from the purely from the networking world. This concept is a mixed combination of IP, or I can say the network world, with the DNS world. Okay, DNS world. So there's one concept in the DNS. Okay, so what happened here? What happened here? In this case, for example, we provide same IP to multiple computers. Okay, in the unicast or broadcast, every computer has a different IP. Okay, but here, okay, we provide, even though if I take this diagram again to explain you. Okay, so here, we are providing, let's say, IP2. So here we have one computer in one of the edge location in of AWS. We provide one computer IP2. Here we have one more computer, means a different computer or different server or different device, but this device also again we provide IP2. Okay, here also we also provide IP2. And understand one thing, guys, public IP is always unique. If you give one IP public to one device or one computer, all right, in the global network, same IP you never provide. But in any cast world, right, you provide same IP or same public IP to multiple computer or multiple devices across the world. Okay. Now, if you provide multiple IPs, now what happen if one of the customer, one of the customer or client want to connect to IP2? Now, if they write IP2, which IP they will connect? Because same IP running here also, same IP running also here, same IP we provide to this device. So which IP they will connect? So here DNS is the one who gonna help you. So DNS will help to this customer and say, if you want to connect to IP2, okay, and because IP2 right now is working with the concept called anycast, okay, so because this IP is anycast, means whatever the IP that is nearest to you, I'm again talking about the same concept called latency. Okay, I am you have to connect to that IP. So guys, anycast IP is a concept where DNS internally help you, and this is actually normally we use in the public world. There's no meaning to use in the private world. So anycast we normally always use in the public world, and their DNS internal help you to connect to the nearest IP. So different devices we have, but what of the nearest to me, they will connect me. Okay, so that's what, guys, is happening. So finally, this is a public IP. Okay, and but final customer, guys, will create the nearest one. And guys, that is a concept actually used by Global Accelerator. And using this concept, okay, my customer will connect to the nearest edge location. So this, this concept of connecting nearest edge location, right? Or maybe this, if this edge location goes down, my this customer will connect to second nearest edge location. But both those are IP same. Or if they goes down, they connect to second one, which means high availability, right? So they will provide the availability to you, or high availability to you. Okay, so this is possible with the concept called anycast. even though they are not giving one single IP, they also provide two IPs. So this system, they provide IP2 also, IP3 also, IP2 also, IP3 also, IP2 also, IP3 also, whatever two IPs they provide you. Why they provide two IPs? Because they say if, from the customer facing application, or sorry, for customer perspective, if one of the IP is blocked by some reason or some other issue happen, IP blockers or some other issue have happen of that per IP, so my customer will connect to the next IPs, and that next IP will also Anycast. So Globex actually, guys, they try to use all the possible combination, so you will always has a high availability services. The guys that you're talking about, they provide two static Anycast IP. Anycast is always a public IP, so they are uh, uh, and that is only need allowed list by user once. So as a user side, we use this. So even though, guys, what are the concept I explained to you, if you know those concept, if you don't understand this concept, even though as such in the CSA training, we don't have to discuss about some other concept. Okay, because normally we uh, feel it is a prerequisite, but maybe most of you guys might don't know any cast and these concepts. So I'm trying to explain you. But main topic as a CSA or AWS training perspective, we have to implement a global accelerator. That's what, guys, I'm going now. Okay, so global accelerator. Even I shared this link to you, and here they give you lots of information also to you what extra facility they provide you. And one more interesting facility they provide you, I'm not explaining right now. If you face any issue of DDoS attack, so they have a integration of security and with a service called AWS Shield. So there's one service available from the AWS called AWS Shield. Okay, so in your IP or in your network, if you face any DOS attack or DDoS attack, so they have this security uh, feature inbuilt or integrated with global accelerator, so you don't have to worry about. Okay, so maybe in my security classes or maybe some other security professional classes in the AWS, we normally talk a lot about AWS Shield, but it is by default protect your entry point. Here, entry point means the IP address or the IP provided uh, for the customer so that they can connect to my application. So almost everything that we need in this world, they plug everything together and provide you the best service from the global accelerator. Okay, so that's all, guys, about the uh, service called global accelerator. But how to configure this, let me show you this demo. So what I'm doing right now here, I am launching one instance in North Virginia. Okay, to demonstrate the same kind of demo here. So one of my applications is running in US, and I would like to access this application from India. So you don't have to use public internet, right, and go all across the world and to connect these guys. Okay, instead you will use a private network of AWS from edge location to their respective AG here. And this AG is the North of Virginia. So in the North Virginia, I'm going to launch and run one uh, one services here. Guys, this one computer is already running. Let me very quickly check the public IP to see in this IP some services running or not. I don't know. Yeah. So guys, this is the server yesterday we have configured. So this is the IP. But right now, guys, if you notice, I'm in India, in the city Jaipur. Okay, and if you directly type the IP of the web application or web server, okay, and the IP, if you directly type a public IP or maybe static IP is called EIP. Internally from my computer, I am using the public internet. And so no guarantee security, you won't face anything here. And right now this is the normal unsecure connection, HTTP. Anybody from this network connection public can go and read my data also. Okay, this is different point. So right now I can connect to my application, None of the data of the application is being cached somewhere. I am directly connecting to this application that is running in the US. Okay, but same application I want to connect, but I don't want to use a public network. I want to use private network of AWS. Okay, so I have to use global accelerator. So I want to see the same output. Okay, but instead I use this IP, because if you use this IP, you always get have to use a public network. Okay, so for this, you have to set up global accelerator. So how we can set up? Let me show you. So again, I'm going to sorry, global accelerator service, and this is the first time we are going to this particular page or the dashboard of the global accelerator. And they're asking you, do you want to set up the global accelerator to optimize your traffic for your application? Okay, I say yes, I would like to set up this. And if you notice one thing, okay, by chance, some of the services in AWS is uh, uh, regional services. Some of the services is per AG services, and some of the services the global services. So guys, if you remember, I told you in my EBS class, elastic block storage, and I told you elastic block storage is a per AG wise services. If you create one hard disk in one A data center, you won't able to access that hard disk in one B. But some of the service, like for example, if you go to VPC, so VPC is a regional services. So if you create a VPC in Mumbai, same VPC you won't able to access normally in North Virginia. But there's some service that's called global services. For example, if you go to S3, so if you store any data in S3, you can access this S3 data anywhere in the world. So that is a global service. Okay. So, but looking at the global accelerator, it is also global service. Okay, it's also global service, and because it is a global service, we can from anywhere. What are the URL provided by global accelerator we can use? Okay, and that is a reason. If you see, guys, if you go and try to go to Mumbai, okay, and from I'm right now I'm in Mumbai, and if you try to use the global accelerator again, so I automatically landed to Oregon. So this service, guys, is because they are global service, so they say this service they only hosted in Oregon region. That's the only small information I just want to tell you. So this is only available in the Oregon. Because they say you have to just provide us some unique URL to you, so there's no meaning to create this service in a multiple. So this service is only available in Oracle. One of the reason is because this is the global service. So there's a small information I just want to tell you. So wherever you are, when you hit to um, you know global accelerator, you always lend it to Oracle. Similarly, if you go to billing services, so billing service, guys, is only available in North Virginia. So wherever you are, you all automatically landed to North Virginia, something like this. Okay, but it's not so much important here, but just I want to tell you here. So let me go and create the accelerator. Just give your accelerator some name. Let's say my web accelerator. Okay, so we are giving some name here. So I'm going for the type of the accelerator. So there are multiple type we might discuss, but let me go to the standard type. Okay. And obviously, guys, standard is same one that I trying to explain you. It automatically route your traffic to the healthy endpoint that is nearest to the user. Okay, technically they're talking about they are trying to connect to the nearest edge location. Okay, nearest edge location. And before they connect to edge location, they will first check that edge location or the smaller data center is healthy or not. Okay, because they have to provide one more facility, and that facility is called availability. And normally this facility is not normally provided by cloud front. Okay, so for me, my nearest edge location is Delhi, And if I use in CloudFront, they will get a cache. That's a good thing. Okay, in Delhi, and I always connect to Delhi, and from Delhi they will connect me to the next one or the main website. Okay, but by chance if the Delhi edge location is down for some time, okay, but my even at that point in time, my internal DNS always connect to my Delhi only. So if anything goes down, cloud front never help you in that part also. There's also one small drawback in that context. But global accelerator guys is meant for availability also. So before they connect, they always check the healthy endpoint, means the edge location. If you think they think Delhi location is down, that point in time they will change your the route, and maybe they take you to Mumbai, whatever the nearest edge location to you. Okay, that's what guys they're talking about. Okay, IP address, obviously I told you that they give you IP address as a static IP. So they're talking about, so IPv4 obviously they will give you. Okay, and because I told you there are two IPs they give you, so these are IPs they giving you. So they are hidden because we can create extra pool for this, but or we can also select the IP also. So but right now they are taking the IP from AWS default pool. Pool means AWS decide which static IP you can you can connect. But there's one facility they provide you. You can also put your own personal IP. So if you know some company has their own public IP they already purchased, and they want to use their IP also, somehow we have a way to to put our own IP. It's called bring your own IP. Like a bring your own device, BYOD. So they have a facility here. Somehow we can configure. I'm not taking this point here, but this facility also they have. Then they show you the drag and drop box on here, and we can select other IP. But here they will, Amazon will give the public IP from their pool of public IP. Okay, so we don't have to change anything here. So right now, just only name I have provided here. Okay. So one minute, let me share where this is. So I'm just trying to put in your document the steps. So then next, click on next. Sorry guys. Here I told you guys behind the scene, the global accelerator work like a proxy. I told you already. Okay, so because they work like a proxy, that the concept I already explained in my ELB. So that is the reason guys they're asking you the listener. So you have to give the port number on which they have to listen. So I'm going to give the port number 80, and because my application is HTTP, and HTTP guys work on TCP protocol, so I'm adding a TCP protocol here. And if you want to go for client affinity, you can set up the client affinity. And what is client affinity? It is the same concept that I explained you in my stickiness. I explain you stickiness in the load balancer. Okay, where I explain you we can use cookies to stick the client. Okay, so cloud affinity is exactly like a stickiness concept that I explain you in my load balancer classes. So I'm just going for none, but you can do the stickiness with the help of source IP. So any of the client IP, for example, my laptop has a one, my own IP is called client IP, right, or customer IP. So they say if this customer come, always go via this route or via this edge location. Okay, something like this they will do for us. So I'm going for none, but you can do it. And by chance, if you have more port number, you can add more listener here. So this listener is the same concept that I explain you, somehow same concept that I explain you in my in my load balancer classes. Okay, because behind the scene they are doing a proxy for you. Proxy means you have to just go and contact to edge location, and from here we have edge location will send a new request to the web server, like in this example Node Virginia, come back, and from the North Asia web server perspective, they will reply to you. Okay, so that is the reason I'm saying we have to set up the listener here. Okay, and the endpoint group, okay, means such as load balancer here they're also talking about. Endpoint group means where you want to send the traffic, which region you want to send the traffic. Okay, so I know my website is running on uh, in this location is North Virginia. So my endpoint means my where my application running is the is at the location North Virginia. So I'm selecting North Virginia here. Okay, and why they are saying endpoint? You guys know what is endpoint? Endpoint means the final IP or final URL. But why they are saying endpoint groups? Because multiple regions you can select here. Right, so there might be possibility some of the uh, main web server is running in North Virginia, some of the main server maybe running in US but in Oregon, maybe in the California, or maybe by chance in North or South America, maybe in Brazil or maybe some other countries also. But they might not want to launch in Europe. The European has some or Russian has some extra, you know, say legal compliance, right? But other country also they might have. Okay, and they want any of the customer from Russia or India or China or from this area, they can connect to any of the region. And here they will give internal help you in load balancing also. Okay, so if you think you want to do a load balancing, that's what I think they're talking about here, where somebody there where they write the load balancing, then you can guys create multiple. So one of the computers we will launch in North California. Okay, and traffic dial means it is something like weighted. You know, weight we write here. Okay, 100 and 100 means so out of 200 packets, 100 packet go here, 100 packet go here. So equal. If I write 50, so out of 150 packets, 100 packet go here, 50 packet go here. So 2 by 1. So uh, 2 times traffic go here, 1 time traffic go here. Okay, something like this. So that also you can set up here. So automatic guys, they create a load balancer for you. You don't have to worry about, and they automatically connect with this weight. So right now I have one server running in one location. So let me choose this location and some other option related to port override. We don't require health checks. Okay, so the same concept guys about the health checks. So how frequently you want to do health checks to your endpoints. Okay, so that's the same concept I explained to you. Okay, so so listener guys, you guys understood uh, almost the concept wise we have already discussed. So they have a similar concepts. So next, um, and guys, what do you do? They're doing here. Actually, they are checking some endpoints. Actually, they have to add the endpoint. Actually, okay. So they are asking that we are going to create one endpoint for you that is in the North Virginia, because you told you in the last class, last page. Okay, so just tell me, okay, who is your endpoint? So my your endpoint is ALB, NLB, some IP or issued instance. Okay, so technically behind your global accelerator, okay, your application is running in EC2, or maybe application might be running behind your ELB load balancer. Okay, that's what they're talking about. So your application running behind the AAB or ELB means ELB. But in my case, my application is not running behind ELB, but mostly we always run behind ELB or the NLB or ALB, what you guys know already. But by chance, in my case, it is running in EC2 instance. Okay, so I select issued instance. And here, all the issued instance running in a North Virginia. Okay, Okay, they will pick up. You can see here this one. So guys, this is the one instance running right now. If I go in my EC2 service of North Virginia, so if I go to EC2 service, and they automatically guys pick up the instance name. If I go to North Virginia, so which instance you want to connect behind the only one is running by chance, and the name of this guy is DNS1. So same exactly they pick for us, and that's what guys I want. Okay, and again, per end group also, endpoint group also, we can create multiple endpoints. Maybe there's one more instance running here, let's say DNS1. So I would like to do a load balancing between these two instances. So I can add a one more endpoint and say I have one more issue instance with this name. I don't have, so this option is not coming up. And here they are talking about the weight. So there's two groups you can create. Okay, one group is per region basis, and in that region you can create a group per EC2 instance or per CLB or ELB basis. Okay, so all the load balancing part they will automatically handle you, so you don't have to worry about. So by chance in my case I have only one computer running in that region, so I am picking only one region. Okay, so but yeah, load balancing and all the thing is the some secondary part of the global accelerator as extra facility I can say. But main part of the global accelerator is uh, uh, is provide the high uh, throughput or network speed I can say with the availability. Okay, and that's all guys. So nothing unique. If you guys really work on some other services like ELB, so most to concept is similar. So configuration wise or concept wise, they are similar, but internal power is very different. And the use case is very different. So that's what guys accelerator is being created. And guys, if you see here, they are in progress. Obviously, it takes some minute to configure. And guys, in these kind of services, DNS behind the scene gonna help you a lot. So that easy reason, guys, if you go to CloudFront or Elastic Load Balancers, they always recommend you and they always give you a DNS name. So I can say Amazon has their own DNS zone hosted for this domain. And whenever you create the global accelerator, they create this record dynamically for you. Okay, and if you want to change, you can create your own CNAME in to if you want to make your simple name like www.vmail.com, you can create this different point. You guys know now. Okay, and very limited services that you will see where they give the name and plus they also give the IP address also. Okay, so if you go to Elastic Load Balancer or CloudFront, they never give the public IP to you. They only give the host name. But here they fix this to IP for you. Okay, so you can tell your customer that these are two IP for my application. So any outgoing firewalls, if you have in your company as a client or customer, you just unblock this called whitelist this, so you can connect. But if you go to CloudFront and other services, these IPs is a public but keep on changing, so there's a lot of issues you might face in the customer side. Okay, so maybe some of the part IP of the block, you again ask the customer to unblock that IP. That's called whitelisted IP. Okay, and blacklist the old IP. So a lot of issues you will face there, but here they give this to IP and say to client, both the IP is static. Just allow in your respective firewall if you want to connect. Okay, if a firewall has some client has firewall side issues, you can go in there. But obviously you have to always ask to use the DNS name, because if you don't use the DNS name, your internal route 50 services never help you, and you never get a facility of connecting the nearest edge location. Okay, nearest edge location. Okay, and if you don't able to connect the nearest edge location, the power of global accelerator you won't able to reach. Okay, with the latency. Okay, so by chance the good thing is this is the anycast IP. Even though if you use the IP, they will technically connect to the edge location, but some extra benefit the DNS also provide you to automatically detect the nearest edge location with the latency that one you won't ever look at. So because guys, you now know you a lot of things behind the scene about AWS services, the way I explained in my last classes. If you really revise those concepts, I'm trying to explain you what is happening behind the scene. Even though if you know those, if you don't know those concepts also, using the global accelerator is so simple. Okay, that's what also we can think in this way. Okay, so it takes some minute in progress because technically they have to update all their edge location. And guys, by the way, this service is not free. Okay, so if you're using any free tier account, okay, and if you want to test this, but so for this you have to pay some, there's not so much amount, but you have to pay the amount. So till the time you are using this service or you have service is on or enabled, you have to pay. Okay, so if you really want to practice this, just keep in mind it will come with some extra bill in your account. Okay, and why they're taking some time? Because they have to update all the edge location. Then now two more IPs come up. You have to apply it to all the computer because this IP is the any cast IP. That's what guys. That's the reason they are taking some time here. Okay, so it still is in progress. Okay, so uh, one by chance they say we have one unhealthy end point. Why so? Let me check. They say we have unhealthy endpoint. Unhealthy EC2. Maybe my EC2 has some extra firewall security group. Maybe. Let me check. So this might have some security group. Let me check. Is allow all right. So there is no issue of the this old traffic for all IP, right? Even they're saying some uh, one minute. Sorry, is global. So guys, there's a way to configure. And finally, what are the URL they give you after this become active? After this being active, now it's been deployed. Some kind of warning sometimes they give you because they keep on checking all these locations. Maybe that point in time something is not connecting, so they might show you the error. But now it has been deployed. There is no error come up. And if you try to use this DNS name, so now guys, if you want to access your final application running in the North Virginia, either you can use the direct IP, it will connect, but it will go via public internet. But if you use this URL, same application will connect. See here guys, same exact output come up. And how we confirm? Because we are printing the IP of that guy. If you see it, the same output come up. Okay, but difference is this is going via uh, AWS private ultra high speed internet connection. Okay, and they are using global accelerator and they're giving a guarantee of high availability. And guys, very important, high availability with the high performance we need in today's internet world. For example, right now I'm using Zoom here, and a lot of client right now or student right now are connected from multiple countries, right, and listening to me. Okay, so I want, because I am a some kind of service provider here of, let's say here training, you guys are my customer or my client. I don't want to use any network that is not reliable or not properly providing a proper performance, because nowadays everything is very online, right? Okay, so this kind of service is very much useful, right? Connecting the website is not only the things we know we need this kind of services. And if you use this IP also, even though we have to always use the DNS name, if you use the IP address, it will also work. If you use this IP, if you use this IP, okay. So you again see the same effect. But what the use of this IP, I already told you, but it's not recommended to use the IP, because this doesn't help you take the help of DNS, and without the help of DNS, we can't take the help of internal routing policy of latency. Okay, so that's what guys you do. So configuring the accelerator is so simple, nothing complex here. But yeah, it takes some time for to me to explain you the concept. So everything is healthy to my endpoint. Okay. So that's all guys about the global accelerator. Okay. So my one more plan guys, I had this called IAM service. So let's guys take this topic in the next class, and the complete class we guys purely devote to a topic called IAM, and we will talk a lot about security there. So next class guys, I will continue from next weekend. Okay. And that's all guys for today. Next weekend guys, we also have a Git or GitHub workshop, right? It's a 2-day workshop on Saturday and Sunday in the morning time, 8 hours or 10 hours workshop. So it covered everything about Git or GitHub, lots of internal concept and advanced concept we discussed there. It is a workshop, but you can think it is like a pure training kind of thing, right? So anybody who are interested to know lots of thing about Git on the GitHub, and very much and a lot of use cases we discussed that will very much helpful in CI/CD environment also. Okay, because if you go for CI/CD environment like Jenkins, for example, Git and GitHub is very much useful too. Okay, so it's not a normal workshop. Lots of start from zero, but we are going to discuss a lot of advanced use cases also there. So anybody who are interested to attend that workshop, you guys can talk to our team. They will help you with the link for registration. Okay, so that's all guys for today. um, Anything, any query guys for today's topic of global accelerator, you can ask me. When took AWS Lambda or IAM role, I think I think Chetan, this is my plan for next weekend. IAM will take first, then Lambda maybe after the IAM, or maybe after some topic, I'll take the topic called Lambda. Okay. So um, one minute guys, let me check. CF also use private network? Answer yes, guys. Cloud front is also use a private network. So the way they work is same, but now guys, if you see the difference, right? I explained you 2 or 3 times today when to use cloud front. So if you want to create a caches, if this is the case, then cloud front you have to use. Okay, but if you are not looking for the caches or local copy, but you need a great speed and you don't want to launch a local server in your local AG, okay, and these are the some use cases and some other also I told you, then you have to use global accelerator. So both are good, depend upon the use case, you have to choose one. Okay, even though guys, you can also run cloud front on the top of global accelerator. So just configure the global accelerator, okay, and the URL that is provided by the global accelerator, put on the top of cloud front. Okay, so it's a layer. We have a cloud front, then global accelerator, and then your final endpoint means EC2 instances are running. Okay, so maybe if you want, maybe some kind of use case you have, you can do it. So it will also work. if you wanted to use both. Global accelerator is yeah, Anil. Somebody asking, global accelerator is useful only for the AWS resources. Okay, if you have any services running in your own premises or in your own personal data center, okay, there you can't use global accelerator, because there's no meaning of this, because global accelerator means mm, you are utilizing the resources inside the AWS. Okay, and because AWS don't have any connection with your private network or with your company personal data center, so there is no meaning uh, to use global accelerator with other networks. So technically global accelerator is a service only help you to connect AWS resources, especially the EC2 instances or the ELB load balancers. What do you mean by agile? Nisha, if you are a part of the Earth training, so in my upcoming training of DevOps in the Earth, I will give you a detailed discussion about the what is agile. Okay. So why GA has two different IPs again? I think Siri Tirumula, I already explained you today. Okay, why they give two IPs. Okay, can you do NS lookup on the same? So guys, if you try to do NS lookup on this particular GA, okay, so what you will see. So if you do a NS lookup with this particular global network, you see two IPs come up, because in the DNS of that particular domain name, they have put these two IP, and same two IP you can see here. Okay, and if you try to do NS lookup with some extra information, that's called debug. This command I already told you. Okay, what you will see again, two IP come up, and if you see a little bit also in the top, this is what you're asking, and they give both the IPs. Okay, and you guys know when DNS give you two IPs of same name, it means they are using some kind of routing policies. Okay, so what policy they use, they never tell to the client. DNS no, and because we don't have a DNS access, so we don't know which which uh, uh, routing policy they're using. But logically, if you try to understand, they are using the routing policy called latency. Okay, but a client, they never present to the client. Okay, so they are using uh, a routing policy called latency. Yes, Vikrant, if any content updated, cloud front will provide the updated content. Okay, only after the TTL, time to learn. They also have a TTL, right? I told you that time. So they maintain the caches for some time. After then, they will remove the caches and again go back. So depend upon what the TTL you set there, they will keep the cache for that time. Between the TTL, if some content change, okay, your client has to wait for updated content, or as a cloud admin, you have to manually go to your uh, cloud front and remove the cache. So there's option there, I told you there, to remove all the caches in the edges. Okay, this is a second thing. So can we change the DNS emoji? Yes, Mahak, you can change. I told you, I think now, guy, you can change any of the DNS name. You just go and host your own personal domain name in your Route 53 and do a C name there. I told you C name, canonical name. Okay. You can go and change the canonical name there. So if you want to change the name, you can do it. DNS name is still showing not secure, guys. This not secure is never managed by DNS actually. Okay. So when you guys connect to this name, okay, this this is not because of DNS. This is not the responsibility of DNS to encrypt the traffic. You have to go to your web server. Okay, go to web server. In the web server, you have to enable HTTPS. Okay, but why I'm saying this secure, because now this traffic is not going via internet public traffic. So nobody from the internet can able to see my traffic, or other company ISP won't able to see, or we can rely on AWS. These are the great company like AWS and these. So they will send the traffic from their network, so we can rely on these guys. Because in this way also I can say, I'm trying to tell you that is this data is secure. But obviously it's not good practice to send your traffic via HTTP. You have to configure by yourself HTTPS. So what is Anycast? I already explained you guys. Yeah, no. Does Global Accelerator maintain the local cache or not? No, Global Accelerator guys never maintain the local cache concept today. Okay, we always send the request to main server, right? And the one of the way you can check the maintain the cache or not, go to main server, that's called endpoint, change the content, again come to client and refresh the page. You will see the content update. So this is the way you can check very quickly that they are not maintaining the local cache. But the same practical if you do with the cloud front, if you see, if you go to your mains endpoint and you update the content, again come back to client, you see your content won't update it for some time till the time cache update. Okay, so answer is seek. Um, yeah, the global accelerator doesn't maintain the local cache. No, said CLB does, they're not allowing you to use CLB. Okay. Even though CLB is not so much useful, we always use ALB or NLB. So by chance they are not giving option here to use CLB. So how to restrict the dose attack, right? And there's Bharat, there is a lot of way actually to depend upon the application to application also, and different which kind of network you have. But in generally, we use network police or network policing concept, okay, to or throttling the bandwidth or some application to restrict the DOS attack. Okay, so if you want to configure, the lot of application come in the market, or normally if you're using any firewalls, firewall also have options to do those restriction, right? So either you configure by yourself, or otherwise you can use Shield from AWS services to they will guys serve you from the DOS attack. So 1 minute. Yes, guys, in my upcoming class, I will talk about Beanstalk. So Beanstalk we have in the discussion. In my upcoming class, we'll discuss. The difference between CAF and GA, one of the difference, Jatin, is cases. But while I'll explain you uh, today, I give some other differences also. Okay. So, but yeah, one of the major differences is cache, but a lot of small difference also, like public IP they give you. They never give the strict public IP. This is also one of the difference. Okay. One difference is availability. Please start DSA concept. Mehra, I think I already started, and a lot of discussion of DSA concept we have done in our Earth classes, and we keep on doing, right. And I suggest, guys, if you're doing this practical, okay, after this practical, after this practical, um, please go and delete the global accelerator. Okay. So that's all, guys. Just do this practical. Uh, you just practice this, you will get some more idea, right? And see you guys in the next week with some more new concept, guys. That's all, guys, for today. See you. Bye. Take care.